Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is the second part of my diet body image video. I really hope that at least some of you enjoy this content. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. Please click like so I know that I can record more and it's not completely pointless for me to do so. And I really hope that I'm gonna learn as much as I can soon. I know I'm still completely new to it. Thank you so much for being here, and yes, let's continue. I just wanted to state the point in first place that even though it may sound so lightly when I speak about these things, they have been actually a big issue in my life. And when I say big issue, I mean I've been dealing with my body image for years, for like majority of my life. And I will tell you a little bit more here today of how much it actually affected me, and I would even describe it as how much it took from my life. This idea of not being enough, not looking enough, being fat, being ugly. And just so I can clarify as well, it doesn't mean that I am fully perfect right now, that I'm fully recovered, that I love my body 100% and I am completely fine and like nothing happened. No, because it's a process and it's a battle. I would even say, like, therapy, going for therapy, working on yourself can take years and years, so it's not just something you get rid of overnight. I still have a lot of negative thoughts about myself. I still have a lot of issues going around myself. In terms of my binge eating, I think one of the main things that I need to say here is that I knew the problem was there. I knew that I have an issue with it. I even knew more or less what causes these things. I was trying to be analytical about it. I was really trying to get to the point of it, like why is it, what can I do differently? And I was reading articles about it. I was actually even reading a book called Brain Over Binge, when the author of this book is actually describing literally the same things. Like, the main thought of this book is basically that you can just not act on it. Like, you have this power to have a thought and ignore this thought. I felt powerless. I felt like this is something out of my control. Like, when I had this impulse, it was a little bit like a different mindset. It's like I'm in a different world right now. I don't even know how to describe it, because I believe that people who never struggled with food will never understand and would never be able to relate to it, because this is so messed up when you think about it. It's like, well, why don't you just not eat it? Like, just eat one chocolate and leave it. Well, you can't. Like, that's the whole problem here, is that you literally feel like you don't have any power over it, like you have no impact to it. It's like taking control over you. I would even compare this feeling a little bit to taking drugs, the feeling of switching off from this world. Like, that's how I felt. And I heard these like ideas of, you know, when you feel like binging, just go for a walk. I don't know, just occupy your mind. And I was trying. I was going for walks at like 10 p.m. because I didn't want to binge. I was doing all sorts of stuff, and trust me, they were not really working well. I don't know. It just wasn't working. I would still go back and I would think about it, and even if I didn't binge this day, I would binge the day after. So it wasn't really working for me. And I remember I was being like really fed up with it. Like, that's why I also signed up for a therapy, because I just couldn't stay with myself like that. And the thing is, I actually waited for my therapy for 8 or 9 months, because the therapy that is from NHS, you have to wait that long. And I was waiting, and I recommend you to do it as well. Like, if you're thinking about it, do it. You'll wait, but it's worth it. I went through a pretty toxic, I can call it, relationship as well, whatever. Usually, like, the funny thing about me is that when I am getting into relationships, or like when I am meeting someone, I actually stop eating almost at all. I don't know, it's like a subconscious thing for me. Like, when I'm dating, it's kind of hard for me to even eat in front of other person. I would come back home and then I would stuff my face, but overall the whole day, for example, I wouldn't eat almost anything with someone. And I got into this habit, and I literally was like at the gym 3-4 times a week I was already getting into this some sort of routine. I was becoming more and more interested in that. And to be fair, I think I refocused at that time a bit. So I stopped thinking about the gym as a way to burn calories or like a way to get slimmer. I was becoming more and more interested in like weight workouts, in lifting, and building my strength basically, even if it wasn't like 100% genuine from my part, because I tend to lie to myself and tell myself, no, I don't care how I look like, like I don't care. The truth is, I usually care, and if I say that I'm working out just to be stronger, I usually mean losing weight as well. Even if I was telling this to myself that I want to become stronger, I was looking up for some different workouts, I was trying to increase these weights, whatever, and I also knew that I need to eat to build muscles. I was just focusing on increasing the protein intake in my diet. I was trying to build these muscles. And to be fair, I don't know if it was a placebo effect. Again, if I find pictures, I will show them to you. But I was feeling like I am doing something there. Like, my figure is kind of not the most desirable one from Instagram for sure. And I also am aware that Instagram and social media have huge influence on the way we look at our bodies. And I am the victim of it as well. And me, after looking at these whole pictures of like these fit girls, beautiful booties, beautiful tiny waists, everything, I obviously get influenced by that, but for me it was more of it became more of a motivation to actually work out rather than to diet, because I knew that these booties don't come from the air, they need to eat as well. So that was kind of refocusing from food to workouts. I do get this mentality of being too obsessive about something. I'm not sure if it was like that. I don't think so. I think I was still remaining some balance. I would still be able to go for drinks with my friend or on Friday, let's say, or I would still, I don't know, eat chips after this party, like, because when I was on my moments of like strict dieting, I wouldn't even go for drinks with my friends. I wouldn't go out because I was risking that I'm gonna consume too much calories or whatever. So in the beginning of this year, for the first 3 months until we all know what happened, this was literally my best time at the gym ever, because I was focusing on increasing these weights. I was focusing on the technique. I was really trying to work out properly. I was doing squats. I was doing deadlifts. Like, I was really trying to learn, and I was trying to build myself. I was trying to become stronger, and I was getting excited when I could take a kilo more on this like weight, and I was really excited about that. And it was literally like the best time for me because I was fueling my body, at least that's how I felt. That's why I was eating mainly a pretty healthy diet. I was still eating a lot, yes I was, because I like food. And then they closed the gyms and I was at home. To be fair, for the first month or two, I was still active. I was still working out at home. I would go for long walks almost every single day. I was quite doing okay in this matter of like workouts. I believe that even though I wasn't really doing much uni stuff that I was supposed to do, I was like not doing many things that I wanted to, but this one thing I was doing, I was working out. Even if I was waking up at 3 p.m. and I wouldn't do almost anything apart from watching the series, I would at least move myself to do this 30-40 minutes cardio. So that was the only thing making me feel like I'm doing something. At least I'm doing something. At least I'm working out, right? Like, okay, this day maybe was not so productive, but at least I work out. And then I started to drink wine. Not only wine, but mainly wine. I don't know why wine. Honestly, like, I've never been a wine person. I used to not like wine at all. Like, I wouldn't drink wine in the past because it would always give me so much hangovers. And I started to like buy myself a bottle of wine, where before, like, for me, just sitting down with the alcohol myself, like, what? This is such an unhealthy thing. Like, alcohol is for socializing, not for sitting at home. And I started to do so. For some time, I was home alone. In a way that one of my flatmates moved out to Norway, the other one was living in her friend's house. I don't even know exactly, but basically I was on my own for majority of the time. And I don't know, I think that I realized then that I am more extrovert than I actually think I am, and I need people, and I need to speak to people, and I need to confront my thoughts with people, otherwise I am going a little bit crazy. And in first place, I was still working out, and I would have a glass of two of wine in the evening, playing Sims, because that was the only thing that I was doing back then. But then it was not 2 glasses, it became 3 glasses, and sometimes even the whole bottle. And then I woke up the day after a bit hungover, and then I would be like, no, I'm not working out today. And it started to become a pattern. I think that I wasn't really coping well with everything that was going on. I felt quite awful. I think that it was the time that I probably felt the loneliness in my whole life. Like, it was the most lonely period of my life, basically. And I know a lot of people suffered from that. And just so you know, it's not just you, me too. I didn't have my family, as you know. I didn't really have many friends here. I was just having my one room here and not much space left. We didn't have any living room, we didn't have a garden. So it was either my room or the kitchen. If the weather was nice, I would go out and I would sit on the grass. But overall, it was like almost 24/7 with myself only. During therapy, I was talking a lot about my one extreme to the other mentality, that there is always all or nothing. And one of the things that I figured was like really important for me, as I told you before about the inner language, thoughts, and the language that we use to speak to ourselves, the things that we are telling ourselves all the time. And as you probably already know, like, my language is usually quite negative. And my drinking wine, my diets, my gyms, or whatever I'm doing is usually a way of escaping these thoughts and escaping these expectations. This is like my almost inner perfectionism, even though I didn't know that before. If you have this day, let's say, like I did over a pandemic, that I would not do anything else apart from this one workout, and I would play Sims whole day, what do you think were my thoughts in the end of the day? You stupid bitch. You didn't do anything. You're gonna fail your masters because of behavior like that. You're being so lazy. Just move your freaking ass. You're not gonna achieve anything. Like, come on. That would be my fault. Like, I would be literally immediately critical about myself. And my therapist said, like, why don't you tell yourself that, look, you worked out, you did something for your body. Maybe you needed this day to be like that. Your body needed this day to relax, so then you can restore your energy and start doing something productive for university tomorrow, because maybe tomorrow you're gonna wake up and have a better day. Why don't you think about it in a day that I relaxed my body, I had a really good day off, like I was having fun, whatever. Like, why don't you just see positives? Like, you worked out, you did something. Like, it's not like why are you so critical? And I was like, well, I can't say things like that because it's not true. Like, I don't feel this way. You're basically criticizing yourself all the time. And the thing about criticizing yourself is that even when you have this day off, and even if you should be resting this day off, if you're having these type of thoughts in your head, and if you're criticizing yourself that, again, another day you're not doing anything, you're not actually resting, because you have this underlining thought that you're critical over this, and you're not even able to relax because you're not allowing yourself to relax. You're already stressed about the fact that you're not doing anything, instead of enjoying this day and letting yourself having this break, this day or two of not doing anything. Maybe if you accepted this fact, you would be actually way more productive in the future, and you would be more relaxed after these 2 days, right? I don't know if it's right, because I was never doing this. And it's pretty much the same with your body. Like, I was so critical over myself that in the periods when I'm not on top of everything and I'm not working out, let's say for 2 weeks, I would be already like, you know, I'm failing, I'm getting fat, whatever. And I would never tell myself, listen, it's okay. You have a lot of going on at uni. You have a lot of work going on as well. And it's just not, like, it's not your priority at this point. Like, logically, I would say things like that. Yes, logically, I would think, yeah, it's true. But inside, like here, I would still feel like I am failing. I don't mean to say that we shouldn't be ambitious and we shouldn't be fighting for our goals. Of course, we should be. And I had moments when I was going to the gym at 7 a.m. for classes in the morning. The thing is that I'm doing these things usually I usually do these things for wrong reasons, because I don't do them for myself. I don't do it for making myself feel better. I'm doing this because I feel like I have to be this successful person, to lose weight, to become better, then I have to do that. Like, this is the only way. Everything else are just excuses. Like, I have excuses for every single thing. And that was like the biggest dissonance in my personality, that I have excuses for every single thing. It is so important to be understanding for yourself. It is important to try to accept the state that you're in right now. If you haven't been to the gym for last 2-3 weeks or maybe months because you are going through something, just don't fight with it. Just be like, okay, it is happening. Maybe I'll manage to go next week. Maybe I'll manage to go next month. Just don't discredit your whole self as a person because you haven't worked out in 2 weeks, because that's what I'm doing sometimes. Like, your whole value as a person is not defined by, are you working out or not? Are you losing weight or not? Did you gain weight? Did you lose weight? This is not the value of us women. Like, we are so much more than this number. And I know it is difficult because I am going through it as well. Like, I believe in that and I repeat that, but I feel like I can tell this to every single woman that I meet, apart from myself, because I have these expectations from myself that I should be this and that way. And I think it also comes down to the potential, because I feel like sometimes we feel like we have this potential to be, you know, these fit Instagram models, and like it's this feeling like, I know I could do that. I know I can achieve that. Like, if I only wanted, if I like pushed myself, if I dieted, I would be able to look like that. Like, I could do that as well. But what's the price, really? Because yes, you probably can, and I probably can too, for a month or two, cut calories, go to the gym 5 times a week. Maybe I'm not gonna look exactly like them, but I'm gonna look way better than I do right now. But I also know that the consequence of that would be for me to then probably give up at some point, because I'm gonna be fed up with this lifestyle and it's gonna be against me, and I'm gonna go buy myself food and I'm gonna binge eat for the rest couple of weeks to regain all the weight and even more than that. For me personally, like, one of the most challenges for now is to find the so-called balance, to not be overcritical, to not be over judgmental, to still try to do something about myself, to work on myself without blaming and criticizing myself all the time for not doing it right, for not doing enough, for not doing anything at a specific day. Like, this kind of acceptance that we have for other people, for the people that we love, for our friends, this is the level of acceptance we should have for ourselves as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry if I talked too much again, as per usual. Please leave me a comment if you have any questions, if you can say anything about what I just said, if you can relate to it. Like this video, subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye.